A major trade storm is hitting the global auto industry. President Trump's tariffs are shaking up business for some of the world's biggest car companies, especially Japanese giants like Toyota and Honda. These tariffs, taxes on cars and parts brought into the US, are upending a business model built on selling to American drivers. The new costs threaten decades of planning and investment, creating financial headwinds that ripple across the globe. Millions are affected: workers, suppliers, and customers alike. What began as a political move in Washington has become a global economic issue. The core problem is uncertainty. Sudden changes in trade rules make it nearly impossible for automakers to plan ahead. Companies are struggling to predict costs and profits, leading to higher prices for consumers and potential job losses. Japanese car companies are reporting significant financial losses and rethinking their US strategies. This isn't just about numbers, it's about the future of an industry that drives economic growth. The decisions made today will shape the cars we drive and the jobs we have for years to come. It's a story of politics, economics, and the everyday lives of people in both the US and Japan. The US-Japan auto trade relationship has always been complex. Japanese automakers like Toyota and Honda found huge success in America, but that success sparked tension and calls for trade protections. Under the Trump administration, tariffs became the tool to protect US industries, hitting imported cars and parts hard. For global automakers with international supply chains, these policies created major disruption and uncertainty. Japan pushed for exemptions, arguing their companies create thousands of American jobs, but the threat of high tariffs persisted. Negotiations were tense, with the entire industry watching closely. The outcome would determine the financial fate of many companies and set the tone for future trade relations. Ultimately, the promise to lower tariffs for Japan didn't fully materialize, and the industry faced new costs. This episode shows how quickly trade relationships can shift, and how vulnerable global companies are to political decisions. For automakers, the stable trade environment they relied on was replaced by conflict and unpredictability. They're now forced to adapt to a new, challenging reality. The story is far from over. The tariffs have hit Toyota and Honda hard. Toyota projects a loss of up to $10 billion in operating income by 2026 due to tariffs, a staggering blow. Honda saw a 50% drop in operating profits in just one quarter, blaming tariffs for $122 billion yen in lost profits in 3 months. These numbers show how quickly trade policy can erase years of earnings. Honda has shown some resilience, revising its profit forecast upward, but the pressure remains. Both companies are absorbing massive new costs, forcing tough choices about investment, research, and jobs. The financial strain isn't just about balance sheets, it's about the future of innovation and growth. Toyota and Honda must now balance profitability with long-term goals in an unpredictable market. Every decision is shaped by the uncertainty of future trade rules. The path to recovery is long and the stakes are high. The industry's future hangs in the balance. The tariff shockwaves extend beyond Toyota and Honda. Nissan, already struggling with restructuring, faces new financial pressure, complicating its recovery. Subaru has halted some US exports and is rethinking investments. No company is immune. The entire Japanese auto industry is gripped by uncertainty, with many automakers reluctant to provide financial forecasts. The constant threat of new tariffs makes long-term planning nearly impossible. Companies are reevaluating everything: where to build cars, source parts, and invest. Changing supply chains built over decades is costly and complex. Delayed investments mean postponed new models and updated facilities. Automakers are forced to make tough choices to protect their businesses. The ripple effects are reshaping the industry in real time. Workers, suppliers, and consumers all feel the impact. The future of Japanese automakers in North America is being rewritten. Amid the turmoil, a new US-Japan trade agreement brought some relief. Tariffs on Japanese auto imports dropped from 25% to 15%, not a full removal, but a significant step. This partial rollback eased financial pressure on Toyota and Honda. The reduced rate gives Japanese automakers a cost advantage over American rivals like Ford and GM. who still face higher tariffs on some imports. Japanese brands can now offer lower prices or improve profit margins, gaining a competitive edge. The deal is more than politics. It's a real-world shift in the auto industry's balance of power. Japanese automakers now have a crucial lifeline to recover and compete. The agreement has changed the game in the American market, but uncertainty still lingers. The new trade deal has redrawn the battle lines in the US auto market. With tariffs lowered to 15%, Toyota and Honda now have a significant cost advantage. American companies like Ford and GM face higher costs, putting them at a disadvantage at home. Ford's CEO warns that Toyota could undercut Ford by as much as $10,000 per car, a huge price gap. This shift is a direct result of trade policy, not just business strategy. American automakers must now cut costs or innovate to stay competitive. The entire industry is adjusting to this new reality, with pricing, marketing, and production all affected. The competitive landscape has fundamentally changed. The advantage has shifted, at least for now. Politics and business are more intertwined than ever. Tariff-driven uncertainty is making Japanese automakers cautious about investing in North America. Honda has postponed major projects, and others are holding back, wary of sudden trade rule changes. Companies are also overhauling their supply chains, analyzing every part's origin to reduce tariff exposure. Restructuring global supply chains is costly and time-consuming, but necessary. Delayed investments slow innovation and new model launches. Automakers are shifting from global to more regionalized supply chains to minimize political risk. This marks a fundamental change in global business strategy. The era of highly efficient, interconnected supply chains is giving way to resilience and regionalization. The tariffs have forced automakers to adapt quickly. Every business decision now factors in political risk. The industry is entering a new era of trade protectionism. Industry experts say this is one of the most disruptive periods the auto sector has faced in decades. Dr. Anna Miller, an automotive analyst, calls it a fundamental stress test of the global business model. The US-Japan trade deal offers some relief, but uncertainty remains the biggest threat. No one knows if tariffs will change again, making long-term investment decisions risky. Dr. Miller predicts a shift toward more regionalized production, more manufacturing within North America to avoid tariffs. This could mean more local jobs, but also higher costs and prices for consumers. The industry is at a crossroads. Those who adapt, innovate, and build resilient operations will survive. The road ahead is bumpy, with economic nationalism on the rise. The trade disputes have opened a Pandora's box that won't be closed easily. Automakers from Detroit to Tokyo are holding their breath. The ability to navigate uncertainty will define the winners. The future of the industry is being decided now. Everyone is watching what comes next. This isn't just a story for economists and CEOs. It affects everyone. For workers, uncertainty could mean job losses or fewer opportunities as companies delay investments. For car buyers, tariffs often mean higher prices, as costs are passed down to consumers. The new US-Japan deal might lower prices for some Japanese brands, but overall, trade disruption could make cars more expensive. Supply chain changes and new expenses drive up costs for everyone. Staying informed about trade policies is more important than ever. Ask where your car was made and how global issues affect its price. Being an informed consumer helps you make better decisions. The story of tariffs and the auto industry shows how connected we all are in a global economy. Decisions made abroad can impact your job, your community, and your wallet. As citizens and consumers, staying engaged is the best way to navigate the road ahead.